Welcome back to Liberty Nation TV. I'm your host, Scott Cosenza, and with me today is Liberty Nation's managing editor, Mark Angelides. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Scott.
Thank you for joining us. We have contact tracing now. Is this a new tyranny, Mark, going forward in response to the COVID-19 crisis? My own governor, Northam, reported the first week in May that Virginia was hiring 1,000 contact tracers. So how wide is this spreading?
Well, it's worldwide now. Obviously, there were initial early reports of success of this kind of thing in South Korea with the unfortunate inevitable doxing that went with it. But now this is moving all over the world. You've had France is now pushing it. The United Kingdom's now pushing it as well. In fact, this week, the tests went live in the United Kingdom to get people on board with this. Obviously, they're using phone apps that so far are they're voluntary, but if they don't get the uptick or the uptake that they need in the people actually downloading this app and using it for the program to work, who knows how long before they go for the more extreme options of just making it part of the phone system.
Mark, let's take a step back for a second. Just give us a thumbnail sketch. What is contact tracing for people who may not be fully aware of it?
So contact tracing is essentially finding out which vectors have been encountered. So, for example, did I meet you? Did you then go on to meet somebody else? And what they can do is what they're doing now is they're doing it through apps. But as you and I know, that this happened long ago with pen and paper. But what they're doing now with the apps, the mobile apps, is that they're doing pingbacks between mobile devices through Bluetooth. So we can see which area you're in, who was also in that area. So if somebody turns out to actually be infected with COVID, then it can be traced back to find out who may have come in contact, so therefore who may be now at risk of infection.
Well, there's obviously some privacy issues, to say the least, going on here. How are the world's governments handling the rollout?
I would say poorly. It's probably the best way to describe how the rollout's going. England, the United Kingdom is aiming for a 60% take up of this for it to be effective. In Singapore, though, where they rolled this out, and Singapore is a very, very law-abiding state. It's quite a success story by every measure, the actual state of Singapore. But only 20% of people pick this up, which means that for all intents and purposes, the actual tracing, the contact tracing, the pingbacks, were all but useless because only a certain amount of people took it up. So I'm in my secret fears, not so secret anymore, I guess. I'm worried that this will become part of your operating system platform on your phones, and the governments of the world will implement this whether you want it or not, and you won't really have that option to opt in or opt out.
What do you say to those who would claim, well, this is for the greater good, Mark? This is a necessary sacrifice to keep us all safe.
Well, I would respond with, how can it ever be good for a government to not only have you under near constant surveillance, but also to have access to your personal information? And as you point out, there's a lot of folks saying, especially on social media and in the mainstream media, saying that if you don't have anything to hide, then why does it matter? And those words to me, those cut me, and they cut my liberty bone. If you don't have anything to hide, well, it's your choice whether you want to talk about or share where you've been, what you're doing. It's your freedom to decide what you share and who knows what about you.
Mark, I'm sure once they have all of that data contained in one easy to access area, they won't use it for anything off-putting or nefarious. They sound awfully skeptical.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost certain that they won't either, Scott. I mean, we've seen this happen time and time again. A government assigns itself a new power, whether that's to collect data or to impose some kind of law restriction levy. And these are never rescinded, at least not 100% rescinded. The stuff's already there on the statute books that says they can now do this, and they will do it with more and more frequency. And that data, as we're well aware, the last people you want holding on to your information are big tech and government. And those would be the people who have access to it.
Thank you so much for joining us. Mark Angelides, LibertyNation.com's managing editor, and thank you for watching.